So we were doing verse 26 from chapter 3 Uddhava Gita. So in that verse, Pingala was waiting at the door, hoping that some customer will come, and it was midnight and nobody had come. So, verse 27 says, when through this expectation of money her countenance sank and she was very much down in spirit, then as a result of this brooding an utter disgust came to her that made her happy. And this disgust, what is this disgust all about? I was telling you that every human being without any exceptions, please understand this. I gave the story of the people standing outside a court. We can think about the doctors who are having a general practitioners or hospitals, you name it, institutions, retail businesses, food, even restaurants, malls. You go to malls and you see the malls are empty, and every store over there is hoping somebody would come. And all this is expectation of money. I want something to be sold. I want something to be peddled. I want something to be given to a person so that I can earn. This is the life a human being lives by on a day-to-day basis. You may say, I am working for a company. And that is what I get my salary in time. Suppose you don't get your salary in time, then what happens? The salary is delayed by 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Ask anybody where there is a layoff happening. The company is in doldrums. There is no salary being given. Even 1 day late, a person feels the pinch. He's expecting. The money will come in. Why? Because they have to live. Because they have to take ahead the next day, bring food, clothes or whatever, pay the rents and so on and so forth. Human beings are such frail creatures, expecting money for everything. If the bank doesn't pay, if the boss doesn't pay, you name it, you don't get anything. So Pingala is like that. Waiting. And that disgust comes in. The first thought is, I hate this world. I don't like this place. Why am I not getting the money? So on and so forth. This is a kind of a thing that happens in the mind. And then everybody is against me. My boss is against me. This world is against me. God is against me. God is against you. Think, isn't that the thought every human being has? So Pingala's thoughts are exactly like that. But as the time passes, an utter disgust comes in a person. Why am I earning? What is the need for me to do this kind of a thing? Is there a need? I am such a small, frail creature. Every day I have to stand outside, sell myself. Think about your own self. What are you doing? You're peddling yourself, peddling yourself. I'm not joking. Every human being is peddling themselves, including the people who are working for some organization or the business people. They are peddling themselves. And this trait that is there, where you are actually waiting for something to happen. The money to come in. This life is so harsh. I will change the story a little bit. Expectation. Yesterday I was listening to a podcast, Believers and Non-Believers. And in that podcast, They were talking about how a clerk, person from the, say, a religious person from the church, how he turned a non-believer. He had 3 children, small children. And then his wife died that day in a massive car accident. With 3 young children, this priest, whoever he was so distraught that the questions kept on coming to him. Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? My children are left without the mother. I am left without a wife. Such a loving wife. I should have been with her. God, you are so unkind. You are such a bad person. I have been preaching in the church that you are so kind, you are so compassionate, you are so loving, you are a caring person. And here you have taken away the thing that I love. This happened to this gentleman in 2010. I want you to think very carefully what this man would have done in 2018 or 19. I can guarantee you, this person would have, by the way, he said, that is the woman I love. And by 2018 and 19, he must have found another love. Another love. And in this another love, is the same thing happening all over again. I love my wife. What happened to the first wife of yours, by the way? I loved her so much, God took her away. Now, common sense will tell you, you see, you would not have found your love the second time if the first wife would not have died. Isn't that true? And your children, oh my God, they are become very helpless, small creatures. By the way, God takes care of all these things. And idiots like him who start believing that God is not with me, but how did you find your second wife and how did you go about your life in such a way? And now you are enjoying your life. And there you are blaming your God. And I became a non-believer. Oh, so you become non-believer is just like the love that you seem to have for human being, I love my wife so much. The wife dies and a few months or years later, the person remarries. What happened to that love of yours? This kind of nonsense people do. People get over things. Then you can understand it is not called love at all. It's only a transaction, just like money. This particular episode that we are talking about is Pingala's episode where she's waiting outside like a prostitute, waiting for customers to come. Human beings are exactly like that. They talk in terms of, I love this one, I love that one, my wife, my husband, my children, my this, my mother, my father. And my love is so much, I love my mother, I love my father. You love your mother, okay. Tomorrow the mother dies, the father goes and remarries somebody else, a 20-year-old girl. Think what happens then. The same father that you might have liked, you start hating. Or maybe the mother dies or the father dies and the father leaves behind a will where you are not even given 1 penny. Then your father becomes a villain in your life. What are you talking about? I am hurt, I am upset. The same people that you think you're so much attached to, this money that you think you are attached to, you think it is because of the money that you are living? This is the truth. This is the world's truth. And that is the reason why disgust comes in. And when the disgust comes in, you realize that this world is so flimsy, it's so worthless, that everybody is dependent on money, relationships, and these kind of petty things. I call money as a petty thing is because you will learn it over here. That is what my Gurudev is talking about. How money is so petty. Relationships are so petty. The thing that we depend on are so small and tiny and worthless. Hear from me now. how she, disgusted, sang, "For disgust is like a sword to cut asunder a man's fetters of expectations." We are doing verse 28 from the Uddhava Gita chapter 3. Krishna is telling Uddhava these words which his forefather had heard. Yadu had heard from Dattatreya as an Avadhuta. He says, Pingala, we are talking about this prostitute called Pingala, that is us human beings. Hear from me now how she, disgusted, sang, "For disgust is like a sword to cut asunder a man's fetters of expectations." Till you don't become disgusted in your life from these relationships, from this money, from this kind of attachments that you have for different things in this world, you will not understand what I am talking about. And this point has to come in everybody's life. They should feel the disgust, the kind of relationships people have, where the father, mother, brother, sister, husband, wife, children, everybody, they just leave you. They don't want to be with you. When they do something different, you think that they hate you. The husband-wife relationship crumbles like that. When the husband goes looking for somebody else, or the wife, she changes her way of living. The children, they go away. "Oh, you don't care for me. My God, my children left me." What nonsense are we talking about? These flimsy relationships. Same thing with money. I used to earn so much in my life. Today, I don't have anything. And that disgust better come in your life. Because if you don't get disgusted by this money, these people, the places and the things, you will not understand what this verse is saying. He says you have to feel the disgust. And when the disgust comes in, then the expectations vanish. The expectation that I will get the money, Pingala thinks I will get a customer, I will get my livelihood. This expectation that I will get something in my life goes away. It is about death, diseases, human beings, power, fame, fortune, you name it, everything is in this verse. The expectation is destroyed when you can see nothing is going your way. Verse 29, chapter 3, Uddhava Gita. One, my dear, does not desire to get rid of the bondage of the body until one has become disgusted as a man without illumination. O king, the clinging to things. You know the thoughts which come to a man when person goes through this kind of a problem in life? Okay? To run away from things. I wish I were dead. I want to commit suicide. These are weaklings who think like this. People who think that I want to commit suicide, I want to destroy my life. Why? Because I lost my husband, I lost my wife, I lost my children, I lost money. Is that what life is all about? People are so flimsy in their mind, nothing. They don't think that there is something really spectacular out there. And this is what he says. One, my dear, does not desire to get rid of the bondage of the body until one has become disgusted. This body bondage. I want food. I want money. I want nice clothes. You want nice clothes? If tomorrow you are put in jail, you are getting nice clothes, don't worry. Jailbird's clothes. Or if you are left out in the streets, you may have just one langoti, to tie up. Otherwise, there is nothing there. But now let us look at these great people that we know who lived with just one piece of cloth and nothing, absolutely nothing in their hands. Our dependency on money, relationship is so deep that we cling to it, we just hold on to it. This is mine, this is mine, this is mine. And when that relationship or when this thing goes away from us, the money goes away. I have seen people where money going away, they go and pick up the bottle. Or they become addicts. Or they want to die. Why? Wishy-washy people. Psychology will tell us, but you should understand this is what the mind goes through. We are talking about mind only. Krishna is talking about mind. How to overcome that stupid mind of ours. See? By taking those medications and stuff like that, you can't overcome your mind. Let me tell you this much. This is the way. The disgust has to come in. Then only you will overcome your mind. And this disgust comes in. And then you realize how flimsy this body is and this bondage that we have with our body. If I don't get this, I will do this. If I don't get that, those ifs and buts that we have in our life, expectation, they get destroyed. And then, a person is disgusted. A man who is without illumination, O king, is clinging to things. A person who doesn't have any idea about spirituality will be clinging to things. It was like that priest which I gave you that example about, He was clinging, my wife, my wife, my wife, I love my wife, I love my wife, I love my wife. And here we have, I love my mother, I love money, I love my sister, I love this thing. What are you talking about? There is no love in this world. Last night while we were driving back home, I was listening to somebody talking about, when I was in school, I had two loves of my life. One my music teacher and one somebody else. And then when I grew up and I came to college, I had one more love of my life. And then something else happened and I got married. Okay, how many loves of your life are there, by the way? Think about it. Love of my life. And this girl says, the compare, whoever she was on the radio, RJ, she's saying that you got to find your love in this world. You got to find your love in this world. Then you will have a lasting relationship till the end. Think about it. Who has ever had a lasting relationship? Look at your own parents. Look at your own parents. They want to murder each other. Okay? One fellow will come drunk and he wants to kill his wife. And the wife will say, yeah, I want to take something sickle or something like that in the house. I want to chop off his head. And they are both at each other's throat continuously. I think the day they got married, maybe 3 months later, they are at each other's throats. It's either about the money or it is about some petty issue. And yet, these people say, we are happily married. So you think you're going to find love in this world? There isn't a single person on this planet Earth who can say, I am in love. You understand this? Nobody can be in love. I know I'm a person who says you should be in love and devotion to God. Yeah, only to God. Nobody else. All other loves are all fake. Nobody is in love. Okay? Even if you think that you are in love with the profession that you are in, I'm sorry, tomorrow I offer you $1 million to do something completely different, you will do that also. Then what happened to the love for that thing that you had? Nobody has love. Okay? The term love is a misnomer over here. It has been misused. So, coming back to the RJ, when she said you got to find your love. I'm sorry, there is no such thing as love in this world. You may find a person who is your drinking buddy, together, and after some time, that person may get cirrhosis. For all you know, He may die also, for all you know. Then what happens? What happened to your love? My love is dead. What are we talking about? So this is disgust. But this is material worldly people. Now we are talking about Pingala, and let us listen to what Pingala says. So we are doing Uddhava Gita, chapter 3, verse 30. Pingala said, "Alas, behold the extent of my infatuation. I am a fool whose senses are not under control. Therefore I seek the satisfaction of desire from such puny creatures as men." Pingala understood this. Pingala said, look at this infatuation. She is not saying it is love. We are infatuated by things. You know how it is, no? iPhone 4, iPhone 4S, and iPhone 5, then iPhone 6, then iPhone 7, 8, and now 10, and now 11. You are not in love with your iPhones. You change them. Isn't it? It's the same thing. I have somebody who will say, no, Galaxy is the best phone. And then iPhone launches some product. iPhone is the best phone. Wow, that is not called love. It's called infatuation. You see, human beings are infatuated with things. Somebody I was reading about, I love Gully Boy picture. I saw it so many times. Now another movie will come and then they will forget that Gully Boy. We all have our loves in our life, by the way, I love this movie. During your school and college days, you love something. And now you just think, oh, at that time I used to love this person. Wow. It is not love. It's called infatuation. We are human beings who are petty-minded, absolutely. And everything that we do is called infatuation. And I'm telling you this. Even your love you may have for your parents, for your spouses, for your children is nothing but infatuation. Just like Pingala. Pingala says, my infatuation for getting customers to pay me money is a temporary and a time-being thing. It is infatuation. What a fool I was. She's recognizing that she is a fool, a foolish creature. Human beings don't recognize that they are foolish creatures. See? A fool never calls himself a fool. You know that, no? So anyway, whose senses were not under control. The senses are going outwards. In our world, our eyes, ears, everything that we hear and see, I love you so much. Oh, this, that. In our life also, what happens is just one praise somewhere. Some person in our life comes and praises, oh, you're doing such a fine job. And we feel so elated by it. Wow, I'm the greatest thing on planet Earth. And then tomorrow the same person is going to kick your back. And is going to push you out of that life. And then what happens? What was that great thing you said? I'm the best thing on planet Earth. Now you are the worst thing on planet Earth. In your own life, isn't it? This is how the mind talks. And that is the reason why the senses go out and they destroy your life. This way. Then, so she says, therefore I seek the satisfaction of desires from such puny creatures as men. Human beings are puny creatures, absolutely weaklings. Weaklings, how they are. They keep on falling for this, that. So many things. You have met old people in your life. Yeah, I also, when I book my ticket, now I have to book them as a senior citizen, by the way. And I get an additional discount in airlines and various other places. I'm a senior citizen. It's like that. People, senior citizen now, my sinuses. You see, remember that snake from Jungle Book? He says, my sinuses. I think his name was Ka. All these oldies, they are like that only. Think about them. My leg. My this. My that. They are having 101 problems. And you sit with them, no? First, they will tell you all the problems that they have in the world. Then they will remove all the tablets that they have. I'm not joking. This is how they will do. They will put all the tablets in front of you and make you feel miserable. Last time's tablets, you know how much they cost. Okay. This is called infatuation, by the way. They are infatuated with their ill health. And that is the choice that they have. Or to trash somebody else. Oh, his daughter, you know, she does like this. Or his son is like this. Or your own children. My son doesn't pay me money. This is what life is all about. My son doesn't pay me money. My daughter doesn't care for me. Oh, okay. If it is not health, then it is about relationships. So here, Pingala is talking exclusively about this kind of a thing, the relationship which is called puny man. So verse 31 says, I am so foolish as to neglect this eternal Atma, who lives near, who is a fit lover and can satisfy me, and who can give me wealth. Leaving him, I am courting a puny man who cannot satisfy my desires and who causes misery, fear, disease, grief, and infatuation. So, chapter 3 Uddhava Gita, verse 31, Pingala is talking to us. She says, I am so foolish as to neglect this eternal Atma who lives near me, who is a fit lover and can satisfy me, and who can give me wealth. Leaving him, I am courting a puny man who cannot satisfy my desires and who causes misery, fear, disease, grief, and infatuation. We are talking about a man whose dependency in life is all on these petty things. A man is dependent on these petty things. What are they? He's a miserable person. He's talking about fear. He's talking about diseases. He's talking about grief. And he's talking about infatuation. We will take this verse in the sense in which Pingala wants us to understand. My Gurudev is also saying through his own mouth what he says, what he learned from Pingala. Pingala is saying, there is only one who loves me the most. Do you know who is the one who loves you the most? Your own self. We call it self-preservation, isn't it? Even when you are in the worst or the dire circumstances, don't you think self-preservation is something that happens? And I am not talking about the petty self that we have, the small fellow who keeps on trashing somebody else. No. The one who is showing us that we can do something. We are capable. We are the best thing that is there in this world. This is the self, the true self. The one which runs this world. You see, you can see even a snake wriggles out. An eagle hatches from this, egg, and she may fall. But self-preservation, the self within, is the one who is so much in love with you that he is the one who is trying to save you. We also call him God, by the way. Some people who are believers will call him God. Some people who are not believers, they will say, I did it. Okay, you have a small ego. Go ahead, blast it off. So people say, I worked really hard, I got out of this mess. Okay, who is this I that you're talking about, by the way? It is called the self. It is called the Atma. It is that divine, that divinity, that little portion of divinity that exists around us or inside of us. It's all over there. So that knowledge comes in the person that everything in this world is worthless. Whether it is money, job, human beings, relationships, things that are there, places. We may be so much infatuated by places. I love my house. I'm never going to leave it. You see, there are places in the Bahamas where the entire thing got destroyed at one instance, like this. In North India, the roads have been completely washed away. In Coorg district, in Karnataka, the entire villages were destroyed. So what happened to my loving house? It's not there. Doesn't exist. My loving husband, my loving wife, where is she? Disappeared. My father, my mother, where did they go? Disappeared. See, everybody has lost somebody in life, okay? There isn't a single person. Isn't that what Buddha also said? You can get me, something from a house of a person where nobody has lost anybody in life. There isn't a single house where somebody has not died. And this dependency that we have on these people who are dead, who have gone, is too much. By the way, there is a village in Indonesia where every year they dig out these dead bodies and they put nice clothes on this dead body. The dead body might be 50-year-old also, okay, some great grandfather or somebody like that. They put nice clothes and then they give them food and all that. Oh my God, how does a dead person eat food? Common sense will tell you this is stupidity. But yet, we want to give food to those dead bodies. So here, we want to preserve the food. You know what is the food? It's called attachment. This attachment to the dead people. Actually, there will be 10 people over there. I wish this fellow is dead only. He doesn't come out of this grave. You know the reason why? He never gave me money. He never gave me his property. He gave it to that stupid fellow. This is the thought everybody has. Ask anybody who dies, by the way. The nearest kin, the next to that person. Oh my God, this person is going to die. You know how much money I will have to spend on funeral services? People think in funeral services. So now you understand how dead the relationship is. Is worthless. So the only one who is close to us is called the self. Self is God. And the wealth that we have, what is this wealth which the self has given? So much that you have been doing from childhood. The hopes, the laughter, the smiles, that playfulness, the things that we have done in our life. It is all because of the self, the God within us, who has been constantly on a journey with us. There's a beautiful story which I heard from the Bible. Whether it is there in the Bible or no, I don't know. There's a person who is looking at four footsteps going in the direction of on the sand towards the sea. And suddenly, after some time, there are only 2 footsteps. From 4, they became 2. So the person who was a non-believer said, that was God and that was a human being. Okay, the 4 footsteps. And here, at the end of the 4 footsteps, it became 2, remember? This non-believer says, God left this man and disappeared. The believer says, till the point the 4 footsteps are there, God is with me. And when there are 2 footsteps, he says, God is carrying that person in his arms. There's a different way of looking at life, isn't it? And this is what we got to understand. The self, God, the Atma, the Paramatma is actually taking care of us like a baby. He is telling you, don't be dependent on these petty worldly things like money, especially on another human being, and don't have attachment to any other human being in your life because they are so petty. Stop the money for a month and see for yourself. I'm telling you, you want to see relationship deteriorate? For 1 or 2 months, don't give any penny, not even $1. And then see what happens. You are not my son, you are not my daughter, you are not my husband, you are not my wife. This is what will happen. Oh, what happened to the love, supposed love that you had for them? It goes out to the window. Then who is the one who is actually with you? It's God. He's not saying, give me money, then I will give you this life. He's not saying anything like that. You get the point? You have to believe in that self, the God within you. And Pingala says, why was I leaving this God and running after these petty human beings with whom I am dependent on all this nonsensical stuff? They are full of misery. They are full of fear. They are fearful. Remember the old people that I spoke about? They are fearful. I will be dead. I have this problem. This is happening. That is happening. I'm dependent on my tablets. Wow. Doesn't it sound stupid? It is fallacious. It's the most stupidest statement you might have ever heard in your life, and yet they are clutching onto that. Fear, disease, whatever illness that is there. People are so much afraid of that disease. Grief. Oh, this one is dead. That one is dead. The grief may be there only for a day or 2 days. After that, who cares? You will go back to eating your food. Tomorrow when we open up, I will give you a story on grief. Okay? Then infatuation. This false love that we seem to have for people, places, time, things, you name it. It's called infatuation. Don't ever say it is love. The only love we have is for this Atma. Okay? So we have come to this verse end. We will do verse 32 onwards tomorrow. And I will see you all tomorrow. Take care. You have a very good evening or a good day. Bye.